Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Margaret, also known as Margaret Corleone Blues, also known as MCB 7280. So I'm very excited to film today, especially on today's topic. I've been wanting to make a video about this for the last couple months, but I'm so glad I waited until the trailer came out. Today we are going to be talking about my thoughts and theories on Stranger Things Season 4. And I don't have a Stranger Things shirt for whatever reason, so I'm wearing Slimer. Yeah. I thought Ghostbusters was fitting for a Stranger Things video, so let's talk about Stranger Things. Now, obviously, like every other Stranger Things fan, I have been waiting for the trailer and for the season announcement for like 2 years or however long it's been. I'm so excited it's finally here, and I got a lot of thoughts and I got a lot of opinions on what's going to happen this season, and so today we are going to talk about those. And I hope you will like and comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the season. So first off, I'm kind of gloating because one of my theories for so long was that Sam Owens was going to come back and he was going to have a big part in the season. Now we do know he's coming back and I'm super excited to see him. I think he's a great character and I'm excited to see what he's going to do in this season. My initial theory about Owens was that he was coming back and he was going to be leading the charge to save Hopper, and we know now that he is going to be helping convince Eleven to help get her powers back for the war or whatever, but I do think he's still going to have a part in saving Hopper, just because I feel like Joyce is going to need something to fully prompt her to go to Russia, and I love Joyce, and I know that when she suspects something is going on or something is wrong, like nothing will stop her from going after her thoughts. But the thing with the Russia and her and Murray going to Russia is two American citizens going into like a Russian war zone. I know it's a fantasy science fiction show, but I still feel like there needs to be like, they have solid evidence that Hopper's there, if that makes sense. So I do think Owens is going to kind of push them into going to Russia, because he saw the upside down. He was worried. Something that I feel like people don't talk enough about is about in season 2, Owens tells Jonathan and Nancy that Hawkins is worried about the Russians finding about the upside down and kind of weaponizing it for the Cold War. And I think he's gonna figure out Hopper's there and he's going to be the one to push them into going. Now there's also the theory that Owens is going to be giving 11 over to Brenner. I have mixed feelings about this. I think it will have to be a really desperate situation because I don't think Owens likes Brenner or the people who were at Hawkins previously. A lot of stuff he said in season 2 made it sound like he didn't like what was going on with Hawkins or the people who were involved before he started working there. So I don't think he likes Brenner. So I kind of think that he's going to take 11 and then she's going to go back to Joyce's house, and then that's when the house gets attacked, because we see the house getting attacked in the California trailer, which kind of doesn't line up with 11 willingly going with Owens. So I think it's either going to be Brenner's men looking for 11, or she's going to go back to the house after doing something or other with Owens, and then that's when it's going to get attacked. Then, of course, another big thing going on this season is going to be Hopper and Russia. Now, I feel like Russia is trying to use the Upside Down and the Demogorgons to kind of weaponize them, and the prisoners are kind of going to be the experiments, and I think that this is going to kind of mirror Hawkins' lab and their experiments with the Upside Down. I don't know if there's going to be people getting superpowers or whatever, but I think there's going to be something mirroring the MK Ultra and everything that went on. And I think Hopper, we are going to be finding more about his background. I think we are actually going to see when Hopper gets to Russia. Just like how we saw Eleven coming back from being dead in season 2, I think we're going to see the same with Hopper and seeing how he escaped the Russian chamber and how he got into the Upside Down and how that landed him being a prisoner. I think we're going to see all of that. I think we're going to see Hopper getting tortured, and that's going to lead us to his past. We're going to see him reliving certain traumatic events, maybe more about Sarah. I would love a scene of Hopper like getting tortured and then 11 and like with Brenner, and then kind of mirroring that. I think that would be a really cool scene. Joyce and Murray going to Russia seems like it's gonna be really fun. We saw the clip of them in the helicopter, and Joyce looking absolutely terrified, and Murray looking like he's gonna have the time of his life. He's just laughing, so I think that's gonna be good. It's very like Spies Like Us vibes, and I'm really excited to see that, and I'm excited to see how they get to Russia. Like I said, I'm like, there are 2 American citizens going into a Russian war zone. So how's that going to happen? And there's going to be a lot of shenanigans, and I feel like it's going to be very like Star Wars-y, kind of like Luke and Leia going to save Han from the carbonite. So I think this is going to be some Star Wars moments in here, and I'm kind of curious about how long it's going to take for Hopper to escape, or Joyce to save him, or whatever. And I'm so excited for Joyce and Hopper's reunion. So next, the goings on with the kids and Hawkins. And the kids are starting high school. They're starting high school. So I think we're kind of going to be seeing them split up and kind of come into their own. I think Lucas, we saw him on the basketball team. He looks like he's having a great time. He looks very confident. I think he's kind of going to be in like the popular crowd, while the other boys and maybe Max, I'm wondering if him and Max are going to be broken up. I don't know, because she seems kind of lonely and seems Mr. Popular, so I'm kind of curious about their relationship. But I think there's kind of going to be a rift between Lucas being like the popular kid and Dustin and Mike. But I think Dustin's gonna, come into his own, because he has Steve and Robin. Robin's still at Hawkins High, so he has them, and it seems like him and Eddie are gonna become good friends. And then I think Mike's just kind of gonna be unsure and a little bit of a loner, because Will isn't there. Like, Will was like his best friend, obviously, and then 11 obviously isn't there. So I think it's gonna be kind of a confusing time for Mike and Hawkins, and he's gonna be struggling more than any of the other guys. And then of course Max, like I said, we don't know if her and Lucas are still together. She seems very isolated. I think even if they're broken up, they're still going to be really close friends. I think we're definitely going to see her mourning Billy. And it obviously seems like the Vecna is going to attach himself to her. And I feel like that's going to be because she's like emotionally vulnerable, because she had all that traumatizing stuff happen. So she's going to be in a really vulnerable place. And that is going to make it really easy for the Vecna to attach to her, whatever it's going to do. Mess with her mind, In California, Joyce, I'm interested to see her adjusting and, kind of coping with Hopper. And then we see her getting those Russian dolls in the mail. And I'm wondering, is that like, how would Hopper send her those from a prison? Maybe. I don't know. I'm kind of curious if it's actually Hopper sending it to her, or if it's like Owens or somebody who knows where Hopper is. But the package was from Russia. So I'm just kind of, this is another thing I'm interested in. One of my thoughts is, who's sending her the Russian dolls? Because there's going to be something that's going to be like, she knows 100% fact Hopper is in Russia and she's going to go save him. I think Will is going to be doing great in California. He's going to get a fresh start from all the zombie boy things. He always seemed to have a bullying problem in Hawkins, and I think he's going to finally be able to make a new name for himself and be his own person, whereas 11 and Jonathan are probably going to be having a tougher time adjusting. Jonathan, I think he's like in his senior year, and I imagine going to a new school your senior year would probably be really hard. And obviously he's away from Nancy, and he's always been kind of the loner, so I think but he has Argyle. I'm excited to see Argyle. I think Argyle is going to be hilarious. And 11 obviously is struggling in California. She doesn't have good social skills, and there was the hint, it seemed like they were hinting at there was going to be a Carrie moment at the school, but I think it was kind of subverting our expectations, and the Carrie moment is actually going to be in the past at Hawkins Lab during the Hawkins Lab massacre. That's going to be 11's Carrie moment. I cannot wait to see it. In the California trailer, they show the house being attacked, I'm assuming by Brenner, so I think that's going to prompt everybody to go on their own journeys, and I'm excited to kind of see the catalyst. And then they're going to go see Susie, I think. So one of the biggest theories I've seen off and on about season 4 is that it's going to include time travel. Now, I don't think this is going to be time travel in like the traditional Back to the Future sense, and I kind of hope it's not, just because that's kind of hard to do correctly, it seems, in fiction, and I don't want them to screw up the story by introducing time travel. Cough, Lucifer season 6, cough, cough, cough. I do think there is going to be a importance with time and going back to the past and re-examining it. I think that 11's powers are going to grow stronger when she gets them back, and one of her abilities is going to be seeing the past in a clear way, or whatever Brenner is going to do, he's going to do something to mess with her mind to go the past, and I think that's going to be when we find about the Hawkins Lab massacre. In general, I think the whole time travel hint means just finding out about the past of Hawkins, about how all this started, about the other kids, which I'm going to get to in a moment, the other experimental kids, And I don't think it's traditional Back to the Future type time travel. I just think it's 11 or one of the other experiment kids having the powers to see in the past or manipulate people's memories kind of thing. Or it's just us as the viewers going into the past and finding out more about the history of Hawkins and the history of Hawkins' lab, the history of the Upside Down. I do think I'm going to talk about this more for a very important reason. I think we're going to find out more about the other kids because they have been holding off on this for so long, and I think it's going to be a big part, and I think that's going to play into the Hawkins Lab Massacre storyline. I also think we might find more about the Upside Down. I'm not sure if we're going to actually find out 100% its origins this season or if that's going to be a season 5 thing. My personal theory is that the Hawkins lab was created as a lab experiment gone wrong, like way back in the 50s when like the MK Ultra and those types of experiments started. Owens in season 2 calls the Upside Down Hawkins Lab's mistake. In general, I'm like super interested in like the whole history of like the MK Ultra and stuff because there's like the real life Hawkins Lab in my state or to do MK Ultra testing and Project Artichoke, which is another MK Ultra similar thing. I definitely recommend going to look it up because it's really interesting. But there was a guy in my town who was killed as a part of the MK Ultra. So I'm really fascinated by that whole history of all those experiments. And there was so much weird stuff going on like in the 50s in America with the government and the CIA and all that stuff. So I definitely think the Upside Down was some sort of experiment gone wrong. And I think we're going to see that play out. And I think it's been going on. It's been around since like the 50s. And that's where the Creel House comes in, which I will talk about in a minute. So on the topic of time travel, I think it's also hinting at the clock and the Creel House, which is cursed. I think that might be Vecna's like portal to this world. I'm not sure, but the clock is very important, and the Duffer Brothers hinted that that's how Max gets cursed or whatever by the Vecna because she looks at the clock and you don't want to look at the clock. So I think it's the whole clock thing. I don't think there's gonna be like traditional Back to the Future type time travel. And next is the Creel House. Now, I think that this is one of the most anticipated storylines for this season, especially because Robert Englund, who is an absolute horror movie icon, obviously he's Freddy Krueger. Robert Englund is playing Victor Creel, who supposedly slaughtered his entire family and went crazy in the 50s when they moved into the Creel House. And that's going to be a huge point in the season, and we are going to see Victor Creel and his eyes gouged out. I'm so excited for Robert Englund's performance in the show and to find out more about the Creel House history. So the Creels moved into the Creel House in 1959, and according to the CIA, in real life, the MK Ultra experiment started in 1953, so that's a 6-year difference. So I think that if the Upside Down appeared around the time that Hawkins started doing MK Ultra stuff, I think that the Creel House was built over a natural portal to the Upside Down. The Creel House murders and all that stuff definitely has something to do with the Upside Down, whether or not he was possessed or it was the Demogorgon or another creature actually came through the house and killed his family. I also think that he gouged his own eyes out because seeing the Upside Down or seeing something in it that traumatized him. And I think that Creel's going to be a really cool character, and we're going to find out a ton more about his backstory. In general, his story and the Creel House and the murders, they have to tie into the Upside Down or the MK Ultra or Hawkins Lab, something like that. So whatever it is, I think that it's going to be connected to everything that's going on in Hawkins. And so the biggest mystery of the season, or biggest, most important thing, most anticipated thing maybe, is the villain of Vecna. When I was not expecting to see Vecna in the trailer or really what I expected him to be, but seeing him, my first thought was, am I supposed to know who this is? Like, am I supposed to recognize this person? A lot of people want it to be Billy. I don't want it to be Billy. I think that would be terrible writing and it would just be cheesy. I think that the Vecna is going to be messing with Max's mind to make her see Billy or make her hallucinate him or think she sees his ghost or that he's back or whatever. But I definitely do not think Vecna is Billy. When I first saw Vecna, I was like, Brenner? Because to me, I thought the big reveal in the trailer was going to be Brenner was back because they've been hinting at it for so long. So I thought we were going to see Brenner at the end of the trailer, like coming to see 11 or whatever. So I see Vecna and I'm like, is that Brenner? and maybe like the Demogorgon had dragged him to the upside down and then he turned into that. So I was just super confused. And then I was doing a little digging, and my personal theory, after reading other people's theories, the one that by far makes the most sense to me is that Vecna is one of the other experimented kids. It makes the most sense, especially if we're seeing the Hawkins lab massacre and we're going back to Elle's origins, that we are going to see the other kids. So when Robert Englund was first cast, the big theory was that the Mind Flayer was going to be going into people's dreams, going into people's minds somehow. And it seems like this is what Vecna's doing. It seems like he can go into people's minds, he can possess people, and kind of make them see what he wants them to see. And to me, that's very much, and that's kind of a little bit what Callie can do. She can make people hallucinate things, like how she makes Elsie Brenner. So in general, Vecna's power is just mere Elle's and Callie's that we know of, and we don't know what the other kids can do. Like what Vecna can do, it seems like a really extreme, super overpowered version of like what 11 and what Callie can do. So it makes a lot of sense that these powers would only come from one of the experimental kids. I mean, we have not seen any of or heard about any of the other kids besides obviously 11 and number 8. And there has to be a reason for that. They have to come in at some point, and making this villain one of the other kids, especially like the whole Hawkins lab massacre, it very much is fitting. And I think that a lot of the show has been building to the reveal about the other kids, and I'm so excited to see Vecna. And I think his powers are kind of going to be getting into people's minds of like a more advanced, mature version of stuff 11 can do. And yeah, I think kind of Freddy Krueger, he can get into people's minds, make people see things, he can possess people. It's going to be scary. It's definitely going to be having some Nightmare on Elm Street. I just said Nightmare on Elm Street, not Nightmare on 11th Street, Nightmare on Elm Street vibes. I don't think I've ever seen Nightmare on Elm Street. Maybe I should do that. I'm going to do that before the new season comes out on this channel. We're going to watch Nightmare on Elm Street one day. I'm super excited to see Vecna's powers and Vecna possessing people, and just if Vecna is 001, the big reveal, I think it's going to be amazing and crazy. And this season, I'm really, really, really excited. People are going to die because every season somebody that we love dies, like Bob and Alexi. Raise your cherry slushy. I'm so sad. I worry about Eddie because I feel like Eddie's is like, he just seems super freaking cool from the trailer, and he has his big electric guitar moment, and I feel like he might get killed like trying to distract the Demogorgon, or it seems like people think he was doing. And I think there's going to be a lot of new minor characters that are going to die. I think Murray potentially could be on the death list. I feel like him dying in Russia to save Hopper is kind of fitting for him, as he got involved with the gang because he was worried about the Russian girl being a Russian spy, or 11. He was afraid she was a Russian spy in Hawkins. And I think him dying to protect Hopper and trying to protect what he thinks, trying to protect like America from the Russians, I guess. I feel like that would be a fitting death for him. I also can see Owens dying. I love Owens. I weirdly love him because he just seems very protective about the Upside Down and knowing what it is. And I don't think he likes Brenner. I can see Brenner killing him. And those are probably the people I can see most dying. I know people think Steve's gonna die. And if Steve dies, I hope it is like the most badass, heroic death, saving his children. And I'm gonna be so sad because Steve is my favorite. Or if Steve and Dustin, if they die this season, I'm gonna like lose it because they're my favorites. I really hope Joyce and Hopper get back to Hawkins safely and they can go to Enzo's finally. Date kind of like their snowball moment. I'm totally gonna cry if that happens. I'm super excited for this season. I am just gonna not do anything on May 27th until I finish this, and I will definitely make a video when I finish the season on all my thoughts, or the first half of the season. I'll definitely let you guys know what I think. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to find out about the Creel House and about Victor Creel, to find out what's going on with Hopper in Russia, more about that. Also, when Papa comes back, I really hope he looks like kind of terrifying, because we saw the Demogorgon attack him. So what if he has like this like Gus Fring, Harvey Dent, like half face ripped off or something? I hope he did not come away without a scratch while Bob, newbie superhero, had to get ripped apart. Vecna is going to be like this huge reveal of 001 or one of the other kids, and it just makes so much. I'm sorry, I said this already, but when you think about like what we've seen or what it's hinted at Vecna's powers to be, and 001 would probably be a lot older than 11, just think about 11's powers and like Callie's powers and just amplify that to number 1, and it just makes too much sense for it not to be him or her or whoever it is. But I definitely think I'm so excited to see the Vecna reveal. Also, I feel like we haven't seen entirely everything Vecna can do or everything Vecna looks like, because I was thinking about the season 3 trailer. We never fully saw the Mind Flayer in its like final form. We only saw like that blob mostly from the hospital, which with Gary Busey's son. I can't remember their characters' names, but so I feel like we haven't even seen full appearance of Vecna and everything it can do and everything it looks like. And I know there's theories that he can turn back into looking like a human, and this season's just gonna be absolutely nuts and violent, and I'm so freaking excited. And I cannot wait another month and a week, I think. That's it for today's video, and I think that's all my thoughts and theories. Maybe if something else happens or if there's another trailer with more info, I'll make another video. But let me know what you guys think is going to happen. If you agree with me, if you would disagree with me, what you think is going to happen, who you think is going to die, all of that good stuff. Just let me know in the comments, and make sure, of course, to like and comment, subscribe, and let me know what else you want to see. Let me know if Slimer is your favorite Ghostbusters character, and if he's not your favorite Ghostbusters character, then don't comment on this video. No, I'm just kidding. Also, let me just say, I love when they dress up like the Ghostbusters in season 2, and all their personalities match so well. Like, Dustin is totally Ray, and I love it so much. The date announcement for season 4 came out. I had rewatched all the seasons, and then Ghostbusters was on TV like right after that. And I was watching it, I'm like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god. These were literally the Stranger Things kids grown up. And it's so cute, and I love the Ghostbusters and the Stranger Things kids, and I love how they kind of capture their dynamic in Stranger Things. That was I ramble too much. I go off on tangents. So, I said I was going to end all the videos with Little Jake. So, Little Jake and I say bye, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! I also had to pull Slimer in here. Bye!